Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm John. We're here with She Got Game. I'm speaking with the founder and CEO of Moolah Kicks with Natalie White and the social media assistant as well, Kelsey. Zari, Zaro.
Zara.
Z-
Zara, yeah. Tough
no,
name, but
no, all good, man. So how are you guys doing?
Awesome. Well, thank you for having us, John.
No doubt, no doubt. How are you guys doing?
You're here.
Oh, hello.
Everything's good. Everything's good. We're excited to be here
Okay.
and excited to do the feature where She Got Game.
Hey man, good. But before we jump in and dive into the nitty and gritty, just give the people a background check a little bit. So where are you from originally in New York?
Yeah, so I'm originally from New York. I'm from Manhattan. I played basketball here on a lot of the AAU teams, New Heights, Team Prince, and Castle as well, where I know Ahmad as a coach. So I've been playing New York basketball my whole life, and even still, I'm playing in Dykeman and some of the women's leagues, New York Cup this summer.
Nice. If you don't mind me asking, when did you begin getting involved in sports?
I probably started playing basketball when I was 5. My first word, like so many other kids, was ball. So I started playing the second I could walk. I loved it. My dad always played and he would take me out to the courts when I was really little. And being from New York, that's the main sport that there's access to. So it's only natural that you grow up playing basketball in the city.
Of course. Like most athletes, at some point, usually when there's a career shift, right, from basketball to a certain thing, what kind of was a turning point in your career where you kind of was like, okay, I still love the game of basketball, but I kind of want to take the route of entrepreneurship as well. At what point
Yeah,
in your
I think for me, I think for me it was John, it probably happened in high school, right? Where I
okay,
was hoping to be a little bit bigger than I ever got. And so I'm only 5'4" if you meet me. And things looked great my freshman year. I was quick, I had it all. I was 5'4" at freshman year. And I was like, oh, and I'm gonna grow a couple inches, I'm gonna gain a couple pounds.
yeah,
And I think as the years went on, even in high school, I really realized that I wanted to focus on business and originally wanted to go into finance, but I really wanted to focus on business and on education and balance that with my love of basketball, partially, right, because I am pretty small, so I knew it would be an uphill battle, but also because I think there's so many terrific ways that we can influence and continue to make movement in women's basketball off of the court as well.
100%. I love that, man. Especially picking up on it at an early age, man. So here at She Got Game, we have a thing we call the She Got Game moment, right? It's pretty
Okay.
much just like it's that point where you knew you were here, you knew you can be good at whatever you do, right?
Yeah.
At what point in your life did you know, oh crap, Moolah Kicks is legit? Because that usually starts as an idea, but then something happens and you're like, holy, oh, this is real. When,
Yeah, I think I definitely I don't stop, and stop and reflect as much as I should, but I definitely think a moment that my She Got Game moment, if you will, was when we were shooting the Microsoft commercial out in LA and I was all dressed up, right? I was in a suit they put me in.
nice.
There were about 70 people on set. The shoot must have cost well over $1 million. There are people there just making sure that every wisp of my hair was slicked back, which that's a whole job in of itself.
Yeah,
And I was sitting there, it was dead silent. There were probably 10 cameras on me, a ton of microphones, and it was silent. I mean, you could hear a pin drop just waiting for me to tell the story of Moolah Kicks, why I started it, and how we got to where we are today, which is the top women's basketball brand in 150 stores with incredible traction, great PR. I mean, it's been a really, really incredible experience. And we have so many women in the basketball community who have leaned into this brand and these sneakers and this mindset. And so to be in that moment where I had been working, you can ask Kelsey, I work a little too much, but I had been working. I'm sitting there, there's 60 people watching me, just waiting for me to share my story. And that moment really hit me of, okay, this is real. This is real. This is huge.
Yeah.
And it hit me how big the operation truly was.
Super dope. That was, I believe, that was the weekend, and that was Super Bowl weekend, correct? Was that not
And it
Super
was the weekend after Super Bowl weekend, yeah, or before, yeah, but right around there.
I
Good
remember
memory.
because during the Super Bowl it aired, and I was like, "Bro, that's Moolah." Like I was like, "That's her." I was like, so I was like, "Oh, okay, that's a
Yeah,
big deal, man."
March Madness, and NBA Finals. It's on now too, so it's
Nice,
exciting.
nice, man. I'm really happy to see the progression in the company, man.
Thank
But
you. Me too.
no, man, so just a little bit about the brand, understanding the like the environment, the environmental climate we live in, and the social aspect of things. How does that play an effect to the branding of your product? In a woman progressive world, and in a very progressive world within the last
Yeah.
probably like 5-10 years and stuff. How did that play affecting your branding of the product?
I think when we started, that was a big component, right? Saying things like we gender equality in basketball, and really focusing on what we hadn't had in the past was a big focus when we started this brand. But now what's most exciting is that the brand has evolved so much into so much more than that. And what we're doing is actually, completely different, because Moolah is a vehicle for creating more opportunities within women's basketball. And what I mean by that is that because we are the only brand
Yeah.
that is for profit in women's basketball, every dollar we earn naturally goes into either a wider product assortment for female basketball players, or it goes into higher marketing, sponsorship dollars, continuing this positive cycle,
Yeah.
of creating hype,
Yeah.
creating opportunity, and then elevating performance, because our actual product fits differently. And I think what's most exciting about that is because we started from this place where we said we were quote unquote fighting for gender equality, and now the perspective has completely shifted, where I'm even against, so at times I think the word equality can be counterproductive as it relates to women's basketball. And what I mean by that is because our biggest criticism here at Moolah is that oftentimes people look at women's basketball and either legitimize or delegitimize it dependent upon how it stacks up compared to men's. So they'll say, oh, Caitlin Clark's terrific, she shoots like Steph Curry. Or, oh, this girl's not as good, she can't dunk like Durant, whatever people want to say. But in saying we want equality, we're essentially saying we want to be looked at the same as the men's game. We want to be treated the same as the men's game. What are we really saying? And the message here is that we will be, and we already are, a unique brand of women's basketball. And that in of itself has garnered respect, celebration for, and hype for what we are, rather than saying, oh, we will be happy and we will be legit once we're equal to men. Because our mentality is, no, we're legit right now. I mean, look at the W, look at the growth, look at the movement, look at the talent and the players that are in this generation. It's unbelievable,
Yeah.
and that's what we lean into here. And that's certainly what I'm most excited about.
That's dope, man. That's super dope. You mentioned a lot there, and your progression and stuff. I wanted to ask you, as you're the founder and CEO of Moolah Kicks, you also have a great team with you, I believe, of Kelsey Zaro, and I believe,
Yes, absolutely.
and I believe your athletic coordinator,
Yep.
Faith.
So we have Kelsey Faith Suggs,
Yep.
who does our athlete relations. She manages our entire our athlete influencer and NIL strategy. We
Nice.
have Kirsten Kelly, who does all of our graphic design work. And then we have John Morris, who is working as our footwear designer.
Nice. No, the team looks like you guys have been growing. You guys are still growing. It's amazing. Just for viewers back at home, because look, you guys are growing. and there's tons of young athletes and college girls around the world who would love to be a part of their brand. For them out there, if they wanted to become part of Moolah Kicks or be sponsored by Moolah Kicks, what does that process look like?
Email your resume to kzarle ZARKZARLE at Moolah Kicks MOOLAHKICKS.com.
Nice, absolutely. Well, you guys get after it, and so as you said, so you stated, you had a Microsoft commercial, right? But
Yep.
that's not where it stopped. You guys have been featured in NBC Sports, Boston Globe, I think Front Office Sports, I believe. Like
Yeah, my favorite, to be honest, my favorite was the Sneaker Freaker article. So
oh
they
yeah,
named us one of the best female footwear brands. And that article just perfectly encapsulates everything about this brand, everything we're doing, but also about the product and the footwear itself, because there is no substitution for trying that sneaker on. I can say it's on blue in the face. They fit differently, they support your feet right, but for female hoopers out there, until you put it on, you don't really understand and realize just how differently women's footwear versus men's fit.
no, 100%, 100%. Speaking of progression, and as you guys diversify your sneaker game, right, and you guys grow and continue to grow,
Yeah,
have you ever considered, because some of the greatest sneakers, for instance, they're not molded to a woman's foot, the Kobe's, the Kyrie, stuff like that.
exactly.
However, they're unisex, and you could wear them. Have you ever considered possibly way down the line of creating a unisex sneaker, or have you just been you wanted to be very inclusive to women?
So yeah, so those sneakers aren't unisex. Though sneakers that are labeled unisex are actually men's. So when you're at the factory, essentially all of it happens to be on my desk. Every shoe is made on one of these. So this is a foot form. Material is pulled over the top,
Yep.
and that is what creates the upper. Then they basically glue the midsole and the outsole to the bottom. They heat while this is still in the shoe. They put the entire thing into an oven. Essentially, they heat the sneaker up. They take the last out, and now on the inside, this is what it would look like if you poured, I don't know, cement or something into the sneaker and you tried to pull it out. Like, this is the exact form of how it looks now inside the sneaker.
Absolutely.
And so this form is either a men's, a woman's foot, or neither, right? Because either it's going to fit the male foot form biomechanically, or the female foot form, and they're different. It's not just length. They're different in volume, in shaping, in 5 different areas of the shoe. And so when companies have unisex sneakers, it's actually really unfortunate, because they are taking that male foot form and they're basically saying it's for everyone.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And that's, I mean, that I don't even know what to say about that. That's like, that's terrible, because it's not for everyone. It actually does damage if you're a female hooper. So what we're focused on is making sure that message gets out too, because it's very confusing, and a lot of dollars go into making sure that message is confusing because there's not as many options out there for female hoopers.
No, 100%, 100%. I didn't. Thank you for explaining in very great detail the science behind it. I had no clue. And I'm pretty
No,
sure.
it's okay. I mean, that's exactly, no one does, right? And that's the whole point, because there is no unisex
Oh,
sneaker, but that's not to say that sneakers shouldn't be inclusive, right, of all genders. It's just that looking from a biomechanical standpoint, they are either fit for the male or the female foot form, and labeled or mislabeled is how I would put it.
I was about to. That's actually very informative. So thank you so much. But however, I want to transition. We got a little bit of time here. We want to transition into the entrepreneur side of things, right? And because outside of you dealing with Moolah Kicks and stuff, there's just an art of being an entrepreneur within itself. Like you could have been making flyers. It's very different, the entrepreneur lifestyle versus the athlete lifestyle. And I just what's one of the biggest lessons you've learned becoming a creator and stuff like that?
Yeah, there's no free lunch. And the clock's always ticking. You
Uh,
are always on the clock. Time doesn't stop for anybody, and nothing comes free, that's for sure. So you look at somebody, you look at what they built, you look at anything that's happened, and doesn't matter if it's a big shot at the end of the game or a business,
mhm.
that person worked for that, and that's what we say when there's no free lunch. It's you want something done well, you want it done right. Well, you're going to be the one that has to take it there,
Absolutely.
so my biggest definitely my biggest learning is that if you really want something, you have to put the time in. There are no shortcuts, and everything is earned.
What would you say? What would you say the most natural part of the entrepreneurship came to you? Whether that be the creativity aspect, the competitiveness of it. What would you say? What aspect of it came the most natural to you?
Probably, I'm not sure. That's a great question. Probably the hustle of it. I mean,
Okay.
part of it is you're always moving, you're in the car, you're schlepping boxes, I'm unpack. No, I mean, we're packing, ask Kelsey, we're packing influencer samples, I'm taping boxes, okay? Or I'm moving freight, I'm organizing logistics, operations, financing. But the most natural part is really is doing it all, because for me, I think I don't even like there to be a free minute in the day. And so it's the most natural part would be kind of that more hustle side of things, where I actually have the product and I'm giving it to players, I'm giving it to teams, and you're just always you're always working, and you're always working it. And I think it's very fulfilling in that way.
No doubt. No, that's actually really cool to hear. I guess the founder CEO is like boots to the ground. You know what I mean? You're
Oh,
not.
I'm boots on every ground. Yep, that's for sure. That's for sure.
I love it, man. Now just because a lot of this takes humility, right? And like a lot of it is throwing things at a wall, and one of these things stick. But people don't see all the failures and L's you take before the big W, right? So if you don't mind me asking, what is one of the biggest failures that taught you one of your biggest lessons while being an entrepreneur or creator?
That's another good question. I think I don't see many things as failures.
Okay.
If you're going for a goal and it doesn't work out in one direction, you take another direction. But if you see that as a failure, it's going to be very hard to make in this business, because I mean, every day, my job truly is to solve problems. Every day there's a problem. Every single day. Doesn't it could be on the product, it could be on packing list, it could be with anyone and anything. And that's your job, is really you have to be excited by the problems, and you have to face them head on. And if you see problems as failures, well, that's not going to work. It's not going to work. So I would say, to date, I've been very, very grateful with all the success that we have achieved. But that's not to say that it's the first attempt every time. It's usually, the 10th or 20th time it takes to get something right.
Of course, man. You know, through dire times, right? Because like everything's in waves, man. You get happy moments, you
Yeah.
get super duper sad. Nothing's ever 60. I wish it was, but it
Yeah.
never is. Do you have a saying or motto that you go to help you get through persevering times and stuff like that, or do you have something that keeps you going no matter what, where like you stay focused and stuff like that?
I do feel that if you have a lot of responsibility on your plate, you have to stay focused, right? I think not losing when I would get most down ever is really with lack of sleep. And I think that can happen quite a bit. But the most encouraging thing, truthfully, is for me to open the calendar and see how much I still have to do. That's why I said there's no free lunch, the clock keeps moving. Like, it doesn't really matter if I'm tired, it's got to get done. And that's incredibly encouraging, because my name is responsible for a lot here at the business. And um, it has to get done kind of regardless of how I'm feeling that day. And so I think that's, while it might not be the most the most inspiring answer, I think that's definitely the honest answer.
Hey, honesty is inspiring, man. Never let them tell you different. But
Thank you.
again, man. We understand you're busy at She Got Game here. I'm very thankful and stuff you came on. In conclusion, would you like to leave anyone out there who resonates to your story, or has just simply been following you throughout your journey? Is there any advice and stuff you would like to leave them with going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say one, just continue to make sure you find what you're passionate about and that you're working hard on it. It is so true when they say if you find something you love, it's not going to feel like work, because that is the most inspiring thing you can ever do, is find a place where you're happy and really lean into it. And even if you feel right to start this, it was not a business. You could not do the business of women's basketball. And Moolah Kicks is case in point that is not true. So I would say find what you love. And if you can't find what you love, then create what you love.
That's amazing. I hope the viewers at home take and run with that. That's amazing advice. Again, here I'm John Arm. We're here with She Got Game. Thank you guys again for coming on. I appreciate you guys, and sorry.